am glad that you all have come to be part of the show with me as we are starting to journey on into what it is for us to speak life into ourselves and to speak life into our situation. Please remember the show is going to be aired every Wednesday at 6 p.m. in English and every Saturday at 6 p.m. in Haitian Creole. Today, I want to talk to you guys about something very important. That is to speak life onto your Jericho. What do I mean by that? That obstacle that seems to be standing in our way and our promise. It's that thing, that wall that we can't seem to break through for one reason or another. Whenever we think of it, it brings fear into our heart. Whenever we think of it, it makes us think of all the bad things and all the ifs and all the hows and all the possibilities that it may not ever come to pass. Once we are able to move past that thing, once we are able to look at it in the face and realize that it's just a wall, that if we walk around it and if we speak against it and if we speak the promises that await us behind that wall, we will break through and we will get to that place and to that thing that we know is promised to us. Real quick, I want to tell you, I have been really pressed on this because for me, my wall is my health. My Jericho is my health. I've had a lot of obstacles. I've struggled with a lot of things over the years. You name it, I've gone through it. But for some reason, I seem to not be able to get past my health condition. I can't find myself to be in a place where I can say that I will be okay, where tomorrow is promised to me. And that has been my biggest fear, because as a mother and as one who've lost a mother at a very young age, I always fear that I'm going to leave my children behind and they're going to be motherless when they need me the most. And that has been crippling me. I have learned for some reason or another, even that journey that I'm on, if I keep looking at it from a fearful aspect, if I keep looking at the death in it, then there's a likelihood that I will not be able to be where I want to be. And it may be fatal for me. But if I understand that it's another tactic, it's another journey, it's another struggle, then there's a likelihood that I can live every moment to the fullest of my potential. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to do the things that I need to do. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to take my medicine. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to go to the doctors. That simply means when I go to these things, I know those avenues are not my end all be all, right? When I go to the doctors to get my treatments, I go to the doctors knowing that I am okay. Even if I don't see it, when my blood level is going up and down, I can still hope and I can still trust that I'm going to be okay. I speak life where I say, Lord, you know right now I cannot afford to leave my children behind. So I am going to live every day. And I start living every day. I start taking care of myself every day. I start taking care of my children every day. But every day I walk around it. Every day I speak life upon myself. Every day I say that I am healed and I am doing everything that I can. When people speak to me and ask me, hey, how is it going? I don't take too much time in saying, well, you know, the doctor says this, the doctor says that. My answer is I'm his favorite. I'm here. I'm here. I'm pushing through. How's the medicine going? It's doing its thing. Even when it's not doing its thing, it's doing its thing, you know, to the point that others are beginning to say, you look good for somebody who's sick. Yes. You know, and when people say things to me, because we're human, when we don't understand the situation, out of empathy or wanting to be empathetic, sometimes we speak death into people not knowing that we're doing it. You know, I've had people, especially in my Haitian community, who say things like, well, Sandy, you know, this illness, it's not no small thing. And my response is, it shouldn't be a small thing. I'm not a small thing, so it can't be a small thing, right? It's like saying, well, a crocodile is going to be eaten by a fish. That's not possible. So if I'm a big thing in the eyes of God, if an illness is coming for me, that illness can't also be a small thing. That illness needs to be a big thing because it needs to test my faith. And if it's something so simple, then where's the test in my faith? What do I mean by speaking life into your Jericho? I'm going to share a couple of scriptures with you that has helped me to put this into content, right? So we all know the story of Joshua. He had to go through the wall of Jericho. Joshua had to walk around with his people. He had to walk around the wall. And he wasn't supposed to touch it. He wasn't supposed to go and attack. He just walked around and they were praying. I don't know about anybody else. And I'm not telling anybody that you have to pray. People's prayer look different. My husband, for instance, he doesn't pray out loud. He meditates. That's his thing. My cousin, he doesn't pray out loud. He goes in his space and then he does his thing. So prayer doesn't need to look one way or another. But what I've learned is when they pray, they're speaking life. They're speaking life over their situation. They're speaking life over whatever the obstacles are that are going through them. And even if they don't get the answer today, they don't get the answer tomorrow, they don't lose heart, right? Because sometimes you have to be constant in prayer. You have to be constant in that thing that you need a breakthrough for. And just when you think you have lost it, if you just hold on just a little bit, right? Because they went in around and around and around and around and said they got their breakthrough. Because you need to persevere in the things that you are speaking. Also, the story of Hannah. When Hannah was provoked by her circumstances, when Hannah wasn't able to have a child and Hannah was provoked, she got provoked in her spirit, and she went and she prayed at the temple. And it was the kind of groaning and moaning and prayer that made the high priest question, right? Her mindset, like, is she drunk? It's that I'm going to speak that promise. And not only did she pray, she even said to God, if you give me this child, this is what I'm going to do in return. So for me, my Jericho, again, is my health. And what I get up and I tell myself every morning, I'm going to be okay. And Lord, if you make sure that my children live to have me with them, and I grow old and watch my babies grow, I will be faithful to you, and I will remain faithful to you, because it is only you who can do that. I don't know everybody's religion, and yes, I am a Christian, but my intention is not to shove any religion down anybody's throat. My intention is to tell you and is to share with you, and to hope that you in return will share with me what it is that is in your life. What is that obstacle in your life that is scaring you so badly that you want to throw in the towel and you want to speak death? You want to just wait for it to go in the sweet by and by. You want to just wait and you just throw the towel for whatever way it ends for it to end, because you can't face it. Because I promise you, if you're able to push through that Jericho, if you're able to pray your way through that one, if you're able to speak life into that one, you will be amazed at what is behind that Jericho wall for you. And unless you find the strength to do that, because sometimes we don't have that strength, we don't have that ability to do that, find others who can cover you in that. Because we all have a promise. And we all have a responsibility, like I said, for us to speak into our promises. We have to speak life into those things. Please share, like, and comment. And let us talk together. What is your Jericho? What is that promise that you are provoked to challenge yourself, to challenge your circumstance, to challenge God if you believe in God, to bring to pass for you? What is that son? What is that daughter? What is that finance? What is it for you that you really need to really get on your face and speak into existence and speak that promise? As you all know, this show airs every Wednesday at 6 p.m. in English, and it airs every Saturday at 6 p.m. in Haitian Creole. I hope that we continue to do this together. I hope that we examine our spirit, and I hope that we can able to find the strength for us to speak life.